In a world where Brad struggles to get his audio correct. Do I do the intro?
No, you don't do the intro. Experience has shown us, Reese, that when you do the intro, it turns out terribly.
Oh.
You're banned from doing any intros henceforth.
God damn it.
You want to try the intro, Bryce?
Okay.
I'm crying.
Welcome to the Cubing Show with Brad.
With Brad's big
Reese.
bright days. Oh, sorry, I just kind of had to do it.
Yes.
It's my instinct kicking
No,
in.
I needed to say it slowly to make it sound more epic.
Yeah, put the epic music in the background.
Yeah, time, Hans Zimmer. Actually, what's the other one? Mind Heist. Welcome to the Cubing Show.
This is the section I think we're going to do. Frivolous corrections. We get tiny things wrong and we need to correct them.
Okay. Like 90% of these are made by me.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there's 3.
Sorry.
It's not how percentages work, Reese. Come on. After that whole maths section, seriously?
Yep. I'm sorry.
Last time we said we were 30 minutes into the podcast. We're actually 21 minutes and 30 seconds into the podcast.
Oh no.
Oh.
Apologies.
Apologies from the bottom of my heart, the absolute bottom of my heart, to people who are affected by these troubles. We will be sending our supply money, our charity money, over soon. We hope everything will be alright, that your families are safe.
This happens occasionally. People will say what time it is on a podcast, and because this podcast is so heavily edited, about half the stuff we talk about gets cut out. So
Yeah, what was the last... We cut out about an hour of stuff last episode.
yeah, in episode 6,
pretty
we
much.
cut out 40 minutes of stuff. Last time we cut out 20. Mostly because we
Yep.
ramble, and it doesn't go
So true.
anywhere.
Alright, okay, more of my mistakes. Jeff Verasano, oh my god.
We called him Joe
so-
Verasano last time. At Reese's suggestion, I might add. His actual name was Jeff. That's like a thing, isn't it? My name's Jeff or something. That's what all the kids are saying.
Yeah.
My name is Jeff. Yeah.
22 Jump Street, is it?
Yeah, that was popular a couple years ago.
It's so a couple years ago. What's another thing you got wrong, Reese? Tell us.
Apparently, number of 22 by 22 combinations can fit on an MS Word page. Reese.
By how much though? I guess if you're doing it in size 8 or whatever, like smaller size.
The best way to measure this is to use the default font at the default size. So what's that, Calibri 11 point?
Calibri body.
Yeah, sorry.
12 point.
12 point, okay. That'd fit. As it was pointed out to us by Angus Cos on the chat. And also in the YouTube video he commented with all the combinations.
Another interesting thing to notice about this is it also starts with 43, which is funny considering 2x3 starts with 43.
What does this mean, Reese? What do you think this means? Do you think it's a conspiracy?
Let's look a little bit deeper. 43 rhymes with an oak
Here we
tree. Oak tree has 7 letters. You know what has 7 sides? Septagon. A septagon is a shape. Do you know what else is a shape? A square. Square has 4 sides. 4 is 1 more than 3. 4 minus 1 equals 3. 3. Guess how many sides a triangle has?
Oh, how many sides does a triangle have, Reese? Enlighten us.
Wait, I forgot. Is it 7?
You asked the question. Jeez.
Okay, jeez. Okay, let's move on.
Just gonna stop there. Not gonna get to the Illuminati bit. End before the climax.
22 by 22 Rubik's Cube is Illuminati.
There we go.
I'm making a video.
Finished it.
I'm making a video on that.
Of course you are.
Alright, 100%. Alright, so let's talk about how Chi-Yi is slowly turning into Moyu, which is fantastic. Kind of, not really.
Can you explain what happened here, Bryce?
No. Oh.
I've had it written down there in the note. Seriously.
Okay.
Hey, look, a subset of Chi-Yu. What part of that don't you understand? What about you, Reese? Can you try?
Isn't it Chi-Yi's having world domination or something and they're making some doomsday device?
Chi has 4 letters.
No, I don't think that's what's happening, Reese. I think they're just a company that makes cubes that some crazy people like. So what did they make here?
They made the X-Man Tornado starring Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, I know. When I first saw this, I honestly thought it was like some sort of new movie. I'm like, what? But then I actually read it in more detail.
Basically, the only way you can say the name of this cube is yelled with a gruff voice, kind of quickly, like you're an action movie announcer.
X-Men Tornado!
Yeah. Henceforth, that is
Yeah.
how we're going to say X-Men Tornado. We cannot say it any other way. Sounds good?
Yeah, So yeah, that's all silly and
I
stuff.
love how the brand is X-Man. Like,
I actually can't wait to see more X-Men products. I don't know, since you should made a timer, maybe there'll be an X-Men timer.
it'll be even more crazy than the Euxin timer.
Alright, so next thing. YJ released a 4x4, which is actually good. What?
Is it good? Have you tried it?
Yeah, apparently, well, no, I've just heard it's, like,
Yeah.
competitive with actual, like, 4x4s. So, which is funny, because YJ's last 4x4 sucked. We all remember that failure of a cube. Maybe
Yes.
that can be Brad's next rant.
Yeah.
This is the new kind of budget 4x4, and it is very cheap and performs well.
I like these sort of cubes, like where they sort of make it a budget cube, because even though like Rubik's cubes aren't that expensive, 7-year-old kids who have no way of earning money, if they find $5 on the ground, they'll have enough to buy one of these cubes.
$5 won't do it. How much does it cost, Reese?
How much does it cost? I'm actually not sure.
Where can you buy it from?
Oh yeah, because we don't want to do another follow-up of my pricing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna check now, saving myself the trouble. It comes in black and white, by the way.
Not all those other crazy colours, not brown, teal, and blue, and whatever they had.
The only good color that I reckon in those weird colors is the grey color. I have a grey Tangler.
I love how they name the mechanism parts in this. The authorized positioning system.
Hang on, what?
What?
Authorized positioning system, you reckon?
Yeah, I'm assuming this means the alignment system. I'm not
What does
sure.
that even
though.
mean?
I don't even know. You also have the unified hidden edges, which is a fancy way of saying big internals. And you have your anti-pop corners, which is like every other corner which hasn't popped.
Anti-pop corners. What's just a regular pop corner?
I don't even know.
The corners don't pop on this new cube. Wow.
The corners aren't specifically designed to pop, therefore they are anti-pop corners.
It is $7 on CubeZZ.
$7.
So that's not bad.
Not too shabby at all.
It's worth a look at if you're gonna get a new 4x4.
Some people are saying it's better than the Yasu.
Big call.
I have
You
heard.
should get one of these, Reese. You're our cube testing guinea pig.
Oh my god, no.
I should probably get one of these because I really screwed up my Yasu. Like, I used... I was gonna lube it because it was like, really dry out of the box. And for whatever reason, I stupidly decided to use sewing machine oil because I thought, it's really
Hang on, what?
thin. So
Sewing machine
it
What?
must go
oil.
really fast. Yeah.
What even is that?
It's like oil for your sewing machine. But anyway,
What's
that
sewing
point,
machine
I-
oil? It's oil for your sewing machine. Revelations by Price Tags.
what do you think it's gonna be?
I don't know,
Anyway.
something put in your car.
What's it made out of though? What does it look like? Is it like cooking oil? Like not in terms of what it's made out of, but what it looks like, and it's
It's like it's really really thin, so it's pretty much just like water, and it's in this bottle, and you put it out, it drops, and it pretty much just looks like water.
Do you find it hilarious when like somebody picks up a cube, like a non-cuber picks up a cube and goes, "Oh, this cube is well oiled." It's like,
that happens too often.
yes, man. I got some oil from the store yesterday. Just chucked a whole lot in, mate.
What are they supposed to say, Reese?
Oh, this is a well-lubed cube.
I think there's a reason they don't.
I can feel this was pre-lubed, wasn't it?
You expect them to know all about cube lubricants?
No, I just find it funny that they say well-oiled. It just makes me think of a picture of somebody actually putting like oil in their cube.
When someone says the word oil, I just picture like this black.
Yeah,
stuff.
same.
And it's just like, ugh. I would not put that in my cube.
What were we even talking about? Your Asu stuffed up breasts?
Oh yeah. So when I put in the sewing machine oil, which is totally not made for sewing machines. I put it in, and then I was like about to turn it. I was like, yes, it's gonna be so good because it's like a really thin lubricant. And I turned it, and it was like literally hard to turn. I had to wrap my whole hand around it, go to turn it, and then I was like, oh crap. So then, and it was like corroding away the pieces because it went all black, and I'm like, oh crap. So then I just completely disassembled it and then washed it out, and it kind of got better, but the middle slices are still quite sluggish, and I have no idea how to fix them. So I probably should get a new 4x4.
Yeah, I have a regular sized Alsu and a mini Alsu. Currently, the mini Alsu is my main because it has Weisu soft springs inside of it.
You know what, Reese? I'm in the exact situation, just switched around. I have the full size Alsu and the mini Alsu, and I use the full size Alsu because it has the Weisu soft springs in it. They're amazing. They're amazing. You cannot overestimate how amazing the Weisu soft springs are in an Alsu.
Yeah, because it's really weird because some Alsus that you get, the springs are really, really soft. The springs that came with my mini were very hard. Like, this cube was slow. And when I mean slow, this cube was difficult to turn. Like, it wasn't a Rubik's brand or anything, but it's like, I don't know how to explain this. It's like a Shengxiao big cube out of the box. Obviously, it turns alright, but it's not easy to turn at all. Because it requires tons of force. So I got the Weisu soft springs and put them inside the cube, and now it turns well and it's fast and everything. So I like it.
I was gonna get Weisu soft springs for my screwed up Alsu, but I just decided to screw it. It's already pretty much ruined, so may as well just get a new 4x4, which I still haven't done because I don't sell 4x4 that much.
Alright.
Get Weisu soft springs with it. Seriously. Best purchase you'll ever make if you do 4x4.
When I put my Weisu soft springs in there, I got a 47 average of 12 and a 45 average of 5, which I was pretty happy about. So let's talk about Brad Speed, who's a long time friend of this podcast. He started a bit to help it progress along.
Yeah, just a bit.
We would quite like to have him on one day, but he's pretty busy, so...
That Brad Speed guy, he released a video.
Yep.
Here's what the kids are saying about this video. Best video ever. From Eleanor S. This is amazing. From Luca DeBoss. Well, that got awfully dark awfully quickly. From Hamish M. Holy crap, your new video. Depressing, man. I never wanted to kill 2 billion people. I just wanted a cool intro. We should probably explain. This video, the title is Why Your Cubing Intro Sucks. And that's the crux of the video. Where I go through why I think that most cubing channels have an intro that is absolutely terrible.
Easy way to not stuff up on intros. Don't have an intro in the first place. They're not even necessary. If somebody clicks on your video, they 99% of the time know it's you. Nobody's gonna click on one of Brad's videos and then just go, is this a Chris Olsen video or is this a Brad Speed video?
I actually reckon no one should add intros after thinking about this. Because, like, if you just click on a video, you're expecting to see the actual thing that you clicked on the video for, like a review of a cube or whatever. If you just click on it and then straight away it's like, so this is the cube and the turning feels like a croissant or whatever. Yeah, that's what you're gonna be expecting. Like, it's just so boring watching intros again and again.
The other one, which is coming into popularity with cubing channels now, is they'll say like, "Hey guys, it's BS Cuber here," as my name is, and you're watching my full review of the Moyu hour-long,
as opposed to your shortened review.
And then they cut to their dubsteppy intro, and then they say the Moyu hour-long is $12 on cubicle.us. This is another ranting about cubing reviews and how terrible they are.
I just want to say something, just right off the bat. Please stop using the Fat Rat music.
Oh my gosh. They have literally ruined it. they are good songs.
It was cool at first when, like, JR started using it and stuff, and everybody was like, oh, this is kind of fresh, after, like, This is just had, like, Tobu had just gone out or whatever. And Fat Rat came in, and everyone was like, oh, it was cool. And then suddenly, bam, everybody was using Fat Rat music, and it was just, it was just so bad. Because you would go on, like, cubing video, and 9 times out of 10, if there was music in the background, it was Fat Rat music, and it was just... I was watching one of DJ Cube's videos the other day, and he had some pretty funky Andy Grammer song in the background. It was a video of a competition, and I felt like it fit pretty well. It was very groovy, fit to the mood very well. And some kid in the comments said, this would go very well to the Fat Rat melody, and not this silly song. That was the day I died. I clicked on that video, and it was just like every other Fat Rat song, which was just, it wasn't even that happy of a song. It's just not even that happy of a song.
We should do an episode where we yell about Cube videos. How terrible they are.
Well, that's pretty much what we do already. But, yeah.
Yeah. If you want to see specifically why most cubing intros are terrible, though, check out my video.
Let's talk about the world's fastest cube machine. This thing, pretty okay.
Yeah, hang on, what's the date? As we're recording, this video came out almost 3 weeks ago. It has 6 million views, which is insanity.
Yeah. And I hadn't even heard of this.
So this fastest Rubik's Cube solving robot, as the 6 million views would indicate, went all over the internet. Because how fast did they solve it? Like, the best time was 1.04 seconds.
Yeah.
Think of that, solving not a 2x2, a 3x3 in 1.04 seconds.
Pretty slow.
Can't even sub one. Finally not a Lego robot.
Yeah, all those other robots are...
Yeah.
What are they? Like Mindstorms or something?
Yeah, the last one there was kind of dodgy.
Yeah.
I'm actually doing Mindstorm for IT this year.
In Lego robots?
I don't know. Well, when I went back to school yesterday, my IT teacher said we're doing Mindstorm this year.
It's like fake programming.
Yeah.
Like it's like drop the forward square into the grid.
Programmed programming.
So like 1.04 seconds. Think of it is optimal. Like it does do it optimally, obviously, because it's a robot.
Yeah.
So we're talking less than 20 moves. Still though, 20 moves in a second.
Yeah.
That'd be faster TPS than like anyone's ever done in a solve.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, Faz said he's a PBE, but TPS in one solve is like 12.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Theoretically, you could do faster if you were just doing like T-perm, T-perm, T-perm.
Yeah.
The best part of this robot, though, is seeing the little handles turn the cube ridiculously fast. And the sound's amazing, too.
How to break in your cube.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
I actually have heard, like, to break in your cube, like, you, like, cut out a bit of, the box that you got with your cube, and then attach it to, like, a drill, and then, put the box around one side and just go, Rrr.
What?
I reckon that's a bit over the top.
That is not over the top. That is amazing.
So, we got a personal message from Tristan Wright saying we could test out his 5-timer, which has been around for quite a while, but we totally forgot to mention because we're stupid.
Are we stupid, though?
And it's also...
Tristan said in the message, like, I don't blame you for not finding it. He said his SEO was bad, his search engine optimization.
Oh,
not many people would know about 5-timer relatively to the other.
I had heard about this before, but it kind of slipped out of my mind when we were talking about this.
And also because it costs a couple bucks on the App Store. It's like $3, which isn't that much, but it's a pretty big wall. I mean, the wall between a paid app of any amount and a free app is quite big.
Anyway, we got to test this. He just sent us, like, coupon codes.
Promo codes.
Yes, we got to try out this timer, and I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed. For a paid app, I will definitely keep using this, even though it's paid. It's so much better than anything else like Chow Timer or whatever.
KO Timer.
Yeah.
KO timer.
Yeah, I must say, like, it is the best timer that I've used on like a mobile device. It does everything that you want, but there is one thing that I wish they had. This might not apply to some people, but I do wish that it had like color options so you could like change the color of the interface or something.
Oh, yeah.
Like I would rather.
That's really a first world problem here.
It's like a
Actually, it's not even a first world problem. It's like a -5 world problem.
yeah. It's like because the interface is like mostly gray, isn't it? And then it's white.
Yeah, it's
and
like
black.
a dark grey colour.
Yeah,
Yeah, I missed my pink chow timer.
yeah.
Anyway, I've just got to talk about this because this is.
Great.
I can't believe I missed this. First of all, the design of this timer, how it's set out, how everything works is so well done compared to many other timers. Like, one of my main gripes with Chow Timer was, even though you can get used to it, the kind of flicky double tap kind of thing, that is really just no. And 100% of the time, well, not 100%, but a lot of the time, the timer thinks you do something that you don't, and you do a solve, and then it ends up being like a +2 for no reason, or it ends up being, I don't know, a DNF, or it deletes it for you, whatever. This timer, it has the buttons, which are good, and they're not really big or anything, they're just
like on Chow Timer,
and
what would happen is, to delete your last solve, you would need to hold your finger down and then swipe from right to left. Then it would bring up a dialog box saying, are you sure you want to delete the solve? Then you tap OK, then your last solve is deleted. On 5 Timer, what happens is, there is a button that says the words delete last that is always present, unless you activate minimal mode or something, which we'll get into later. But you press the delete last button, the little option comes up. Are you sure you want to delete? Yes, the last solve is deleted. It's a lot more intuitive than having to go into the little tab that says, like, help, how do I delete a last solve? Press your finger down, swipe to the left, and then every time you need to delete a solve after that, you need to check back on that thing and search through the list of a dozen little gestures you can do everything in the timer. And so, like, this is so much easier to learn. This is, like, once you go into this app, it is so much easier to figure out how to delete your last solve than it is on any other timer that I've tried, and I'm sure there's other timers that have this delete last feature with the button. But the critical thing with this timer is it's like geared towards speedcubers. It has all of the features that is, like, it's not a jokey timer that someone put together in a week because they wanted to have an app in the App Store, and having apps in the App Store is cool. Like, it has scrambles, it has timers, inspection.
Jeez, Brad, calm down. You're gonna have a heart attack. But no, the way this timer is set out is so beautiful, and it's really, really nice. Some things to note. How kind of customizable this timer is. It has so many options, which are all really, really useful.
Does it have so many options?
Yeah, it has, well, more than most timers.
It has all the options that you need. It's not too overdone.
It has...
But
this is okay, hang on. Sorry to cut you off, Reese, but, like, this is the thing. I'm going to read this passage here. I copied this passage from an article I read about a week ago. And this is from a famous coding blog called Joel on Software, written by Joel Spolsky. And I would like to read to you this little couple paragraphs that he wrote in an article called Great Design. What is design? And I think it's very well written. So, every new feature is a trade-off between the people who could really use such a feature and people who are just going to get overwhelmed by all the options. The reason 1950s era telephones were so much easier to use than modern office telephones is that they didn't do much. Without voicemail, conference calling, three-way calling, and Java games, all you need is a way to dial numbers and hang up on the man claiming to be selling you police benevolence. By which I mean to say, even if you think your new feature is all good and can't hurt because people who don't care can just ignore it, you're forgetting that people who allegedly don't care are still forced to look at your feature and figure out if they need it. How can a mute button on this system hurt? After all, if you don't want to waste time learning about the mute button, you can just ignore it completely, right? No, because at some point, someone will hit that by mistake, and no sound will come out of the speakers, and if they don't know what mute is, they'll start trying to turn the volume knob all the way up, so that when they finally unmute the thing, the speakers will blow out an ear-shattering boom that creates a permanent concave warps in each of the walls of the room where the sound was installed, and a matching hump on the floor and apartment upstairs. And since the mute button takes up space on the control panel, now all the other control panel options are a bit smaller, making them harder to read, and there are more buttons, so the whole interface looks scarier. I swear, it's gotten to a point where I don't dare to try use the clock radio in a hotel bedroom to wake me up. With all the options they have, I can never quite tell if I'm setting the alarm to wake me up for a very important meeting, or programming the damn thing to download the latest news for Mongolia on the half hour. So, you think, simplicity, is that it? No! I wish it were that easy, because without conference calling, you're never going to sell any office telephones.
Yep.
That took quite a while. But that's part of the blog post, which was very good. And so you think about that, you think about the balance of simplicity and functionality.
Yeah.
This is what design is. It's thinking about what features to add, what not to, even if there's a specific group of people who really need this feature to use your timer. If that's only 5% of the people who will ever use your timer, and the other 95% of people are going to have a worse timer because those 5% of people need this feature, that affects your timer. And I think this timer is the best timer I've ever seen at getting that balance of features and simplicity in a way that all the other timers I've tried have not, with all of the crazy gestures and whizzy buttons everywhere, and even the colors. Like, you might not use this timer because of the colors. Like, oh well, that's an option that you don't need. That's an option that will not be confusing to new users anymore. That's an option that is not there, and so the app is simpler and easier to use. And I really like this app because of that.
Yeah, it's not even like you're gonna accidentally press any options either, because it's an options button. Like, who have ever thought of them before? So you have to press the options button to get to all the actual options, which is good. So it means nobody's gonna press the mute button and then kill themselves. So yeah. One and a couple other things to note is this this timer does support all types of scrambling, so it supports even square one, which is Scube, which is nice. And Scube scrambles are they are actual Scube scrambles, because back on my II timer, which I have kind of used for a long time, by Dan Cohen, his Scube scrambles were ridiculously long for some reason. Like, they were just really, really long, like 2 whole lines of just Scube scramble, and this is much better. So that's good. And as I said, the options are really good. You got hold to start, countdown, drop to stop, which is nice, and you got the sensitivity for that, which is also quite nice.
Let's go over this a bit. So we kind of, I mean, we've talked about timers before. That's kind of like a running theme on this show. In like episodes 2 through 4, we talked about timers a lot and what annoyed us about them. But we talked about starting timers, and I had this passage that I read out from the creator of QQ Timer about starting timers and the optimal way to start timers. And 5Timer gets that right. 5Timer gets how to start the timer, or has options to. Basically, tap the screen and inspection will start instantly if you have inspection turned on. Tap the screen and inspection will start. Then, if you have hold to start on, once you're ready to begin your solve, hold your finger down on the screen until the green light comes up. Then release your finger. That's when the timer starts. And like some apps like
Chow timer.
Yeah, I think
got this wrong.
0x timer was worse. What had happened was, as soon as you, like, once inspection is activated, as soon as you tapped the screen, not when you released your finger from the screen, as soon as you tapped the screen, the timer would start. The timer would start instantly. You put your finger on the screen and the timer starts. Which is not how stack maps work, for a reason. Like, you need to hold your hands down on the stack mat, and even once you've reached the little green light that comes up, you can still hold your hands there. It's not like as soon as the green light pops up, then the timer starts and you're like, go and solve now. You can hold your hands on that timer for as long as you want, and the timer starts when you release. And that is a critical feature. That makes timing so much more pleasurable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some really, really awesome other cool options that pretty much no other timer has. This has got keyboard support. So if you have a keyboard for your iPad or whatever, you can actually attach it, and there are commands on there which you can use. Which like no other timer has ever done before.
Yeah, it's got hardware keyboard. So if you attach a Bluetooth timer or even like a USB, if you have a USB to Lightning adapter, then it has all of these keyboard shortcuts you can use, like Command P to add a penalty, Command Z to delete your last solve, spacebar to start and stop. It has all of these keyboard features, which I don't know. I mean, do people really use them?
I guess like, but the majority of people,
tons of people at my school do.
Yeah, the majority of people don't use keyboards on their iPads, but I reckon for the people who do, that is going to be a really awesome feature.
Hardware keyboard support. I think this is separate from what we were just talking about, balancing options with simplicity. I think this is different because this isn't an option. This is, like, you are not going to get confused if you see hardware keyboard support, because, like, if you have a hardware keyboard connected, then it just works the way you'd expect it to. If you don't, then that it doesn't affect you at all. Like, you do not see hardware keyboard on or off. Would you like hardware? What button would you like to use to start and stop the timer? It's just a little like a array of information in settings saying these are all the keyboard shortcuts. And I think it would be better if they had hardware keyboard shortcuts hidden in a menu, like you need a tap to get into the menu and then see all the hardware keyboard shortcuts. But that's just because it would take up less space in the options menu and make it less daunting to new users.
Fair enough, but that's really nitpicky. I mean, really.
What is a review without nitpicks, Reese?
Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, some other options, which a lot of timers do not have, which are really nice. Hide time while timing, for all you people who accidentally look at the timer and get really nervous.
Yeah.
Me being one of those people. Hide centiseconds while timing is also a nice option, I guess.
I think you could do with getting rid of that option. Hide centiseconds while timing. Like, if you got rid of that option completely and either had show the time while timing or don't show it at all, I think that'd work fine. I don't think that'd detract from the timer, and no one's going to abandon this timer because they are forced to see centiseconds while they're timing. Like,
yep, so yeah, and then there are some other ones, including voice options, which says the times and says the countdown alerts.
Have you guys tried these?
Which is alright. No.
Have you, Bryce?
I haven't.
No, I haven't tried these. I mean, I don't really know why you use it. Say times?
No.
I guess there are other apps that have this option, like, there's a little robot voice that'll say 8 seconds when you reach 8 seconds of inspection.
Yeah.
Also, on that topic, this timer, instead of inspection, it says countdown. And, like, when I first installed this app, I was thinking, you know, I really like the design of this app and everything, but I cannot use it because it doesn't have inspection. But it's not called inspection, it's called countdown.
Countdown, yeah.
You can call it inspection, right? There's no copyright on... If you call it inspection, no one's going to sue you because you can't use the word inspection because it's trademarked. Like, yeah. I would really prefer it if it said inspection.
Yeah, I guess that using the word countdown sort of does make it more beginner-friendly, but I reckon inspection would be...
inspection is more descriptive. If you turn on inspection, you know what you're getting. Like,
yeah, it's
you know what you're getting more if you turn on inspection than if you turn on countdown, even though you're getting the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Some other things, just the other general things. You can see your statistics, which are really, really nice.
I need to talk about the statistics menu here.
Oh yes.
So, in the top bar of... So, let's describe the design of this app. There's basically one screen, so as opposed to other apps that'll have little tabs down the bottom. There's one screen here from which you access everything. And I gotta commend the app. It manages to put everything in this one screen without having it look cluttered at all. It doesn't look like they're trying to shove everything, like shovel it into one screen. This
looks like this app makes you feel like you're in a mansion with a really tall roof, and you can just you can just go anywhere. It just feels so spacious.
It's freeing.
It's freeing, yes.
So there's 3 basic elements to this app. In the middle, there is the timer. So it says like what your time is currently, 0.00. And then above that is the scramble. So that's like the timing section. On the left is, I don't know what you'd call this, but it has a list of your times in this session.
Yep.
Then it has a penalty, if you want to add a penalty to your last solve, +2 or DNF. Then it has the delete last button and the reset button.
Yep.
And then it has a quick
Yep.
preview of your statistics on the bottom left. So currently it says you
Yep.
have 20 solves, this is your average of 5, this is your average of 12.
Something also to note is that you could actually get rid of your times list, which is quite nice if you still feel like you're cluttered, even though you shouldn't be.
Yeah. This is called minimal mode.
Um,
You can activate what's called minimal mode, and it'll hide that whole left section. It'll still say how many solves you have, but that's it. Like, all of your times
Yep.
list will go away, and then you've got even more... You've got a bigger mansion to go by Reese's analogy or something.
Yep.
And then you've got the top
Um,
bar. What's in the top bar, Reese?
What is in the top bar? You got your scramble types. So you got, 2 through 7 and all the side events, and you've even got other 1 and other 2, which you can set.
Yeah, this is...
in,
Okay, I need to talk about this. So, in
Yep.
other timers, what you would have is you would have sessions and scrambles are two mutually exclusive things. They're two separate things. If you create a
Yep.
new session, you need to put a new scramble on that session. You can name this session anything you want. You could name it friggin' levitating people in boots. And then,
Just Justin Bieber high.
yeah. And then
Yep.
you assign to that session a scramble.
Yep.
But what 5-timer does, and actually, no joke, as you do, because I kind of have a vague interest in app design and all that sort of stuff, I was thinking, if I was designing a timer, what are the kind of things that I would do? And no joke, one of the things I was thinking of is instead of having sessions and scrambles separate, what you would have is you would have them tied together. So you would, by default, have a session called 3x3, and the scramble for that session is a 3x3 scramble. And then you'd have a 2x2 session,
Yep.
and the scramble for that is a 2x2 scramble. And that is exactly what this application has. It has 2x2 through 7x7, clock, megaminx, pyraminx, cube, square 1, and then two other sections. And
Yep.
you can assign any scramble you want to the other sections. But if you go into the Scube section, there is automatically a Scube scramble for you there. And it will have all of your solves from that you've done in the Scube session listed there on the left. This is so good. I love this so much.
It just makes it so much easier. Like on Chow Timer, when you set a session, like for example, you set a session for like, I don't know, your 2x2. What I do, I don't know if there's an easier way of doing it, but what I usually do is I set a session, name the session 2x2, and then I have to go into the timing area and do one of those weird gestures, which I have to find out which one it is. And then I have
Yeah.
to scroll through and find the 2x2 scramble and then set it. And it just makes it so much easier with this 5-timer. It's great.
And also, like, on the other timers, when you would have to name sessions, naming them is the worst, because you need to, like, switch to the number keyboard, press 3, letter keyboard, press X,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
number keyboard, press 3, press enter, and then, like, ZYX timer has, you can select a logo for the session or something, which is not... I don't know why that's there. This goes back to, like, features that just clutter up the app and confuse people and don't add anything. That's one of those features. Like, you can have a little graphic that says what the session is, and some of them are like chess pieces. But this application does it so much better. It does it, as we just said, it just lists your sessions, plain words, and it doesn't take up the whole screen. It's just a little pop-up that appears in the bottom left, and you can select which session you want. It is so much better. So much better. Oh my god.
This is, by the way, it's on Android as well. So if you're an Android person, you can also get this timer, which is really nice. And yeah, I'm super duper happy with
I'm
this
definitely going to
timer.
be using this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
100%.
not even done going through the top bar yet, Reese. We started on the
Oh,
session
dang.
things. So there's 4 more things in the top bar. What are they?
Shoot. Okay. There's also the add time button, which is, well, pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah,
you just
enter
add a time.
with your
So
keyboard.
if I put in 6.25, it just says 6.25, which is pretty self-explanatory.
There's no option to batch enter times, so not that I know of. I don't think. Like if you have 1,000 times in Chow Timer, and you want to add them into this timer, you can either do it manually by adding each one in 1,000 times, or not at all.
Yeah.
I would probably choose that last one, and that's actually what I did choose. I didn't add any of my times, which isn't that big a deal, but yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure No Timer actually does that right now.
No, there are some that do it. I think maybe Chow Timer does it actually.
Okay.
Hang on, I'm gonna check.
You can also export your statistics, which is quite nice. So, say you want to send it to somebody or whatever, you are able to do that, which is quite nice. You're able to copy and mail them.
The statistics view is amazing. Like, there's a little graph button that you press, and it brings up the statistics view, so it'll print out all of your times with numbers before them, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Then with all the scrambles, above that it'll say your average, your best, your worst, your mean, and your standard deviation.
Yep.
And you can share that with the iOS 8 share sheet, like if you want to message it to someone or mail it, or, any of that. And it also displays in a beautiful graph above this. It has averages plotted on one axis, and then current and best in the next. So you could say, what is my current average of 5? And it'll tell you that. What is my best average of 5? Current best average of 12, 150, whatever.
Yep. It is very, 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 very
I
nice.
love this. I love the statistics view of this app. It's very well designed.
Yep. It also shows your best solve in green and your worst solve in red, which I guess is a nice touch.
And then you just have the settings view. And also, as we previously said, minimal mode. There's a little button for you to toggle minimal mode.
Yep.
So if you have the time showing on the left or not.
Yep.
Okay. So you guys both have an iPad. For that you tested this timer on.
I actually did have an iPad, but since I got a Nexus 9 for Christmas, I sold my iPad, but I got it on my parents' phone.
Oh, okay. Which phone? Which phone do your parents have?
iPhone 6S.
Okay. That leads us nicely into a topic. So you tried it on the phone as well, Bryce. There are some changes between the phone and the iPad version, which I would like to complain about here.
Oh, okay.
So, one of the more subtle changes, but I noticed it because I'm a nerd when it comes to this stuff. There is different typography between the applications. So, now we need to go on a brief history of iOS.
Oh, no.
From iOS 1 through iOS 6, there was a font on iOS, which I forget the name of it now. It's escaping me. But it was some sans serif font that they used. Anyway, that doesn't really matter. iOS 7, they changed it to Helvetica, a font called Helvetica, which is known for its neutrality, i.e., everything looks... It's, in a way, the most boring font. Like, everything is clean curves and straight lines, and it's kind of held up as the font. Like, when you think of a letter B in its most pure form, you think of the letter B in Helvetica.
Yep.
Then in iOS 9, Apple changed the font to a font called San Francisco, which is a font that Apple made. This isn't a font that existed before. And so it is only used on Apple devices. You can't use it, like, if you're writing a document on Word or something, or even Pages for that
Yeah.
matter, you cannot use this font. It is the system font. So, like, on my Mac here, the menu bar is written in San Francisco, and on the iPad and the phone as well on iOS 9. So that's a long way to complain. But on the phone version, the font that they use is Helvetica. On the iPad version, the font that they use is San Francisco. There's two different fonts between both versions, and I'm pretty sure of this. Like, if you put the two fonts side by side, that is a Helvetica 0, yeah, and that is a San Francisco 0.
Yeah.
There are different fonts, and that annoys me.
Okay.
I'm just kind of a typography nerd, like, I care about typography and all that sort of stuff.
Brad's an everything nerd.
I'm just a regular old nerd, just everything nerd, yeah. Hi, it's Brad from the future here, who's tired because he's up editing a podcast on a Sunday night. At this point, it's worth noting that for various reasons, Bryce had to stop recording, so it would just be Reese and I from here on out. This other typography problem I had was, on the iPad it's fine, but on the phone version, what they have is the actual timer, the numbers of the timer are not centered on the phone. They are.
Yeah.
Whereas on the iPad they are. The iPad version, the timer is directly in the center of the device. On the iPhone version, it's centered vertically. Sorry, vertically. Yeah, it is centered, like, if you cut your phone in half lengthways, which you shouldn't do, then that's where the timer is. But if you cut it in half horizontally, it is slightly above that line. Like, it is actually fairly noticeably above that line. It is not directly in the center, and that really affects the visual look of this app, because the timer is the main feature of the app, isn't it? It's in the biggest font. It's the thing that you're concentrating on. It's the thing that you're using the app for. And it's not placed directly in the center, which it should be. Like, on the iPad version, it looks so much better because it's in the center. And everything's laid out a lot better. I mean, it's easier because there's more space.
Yeah, but once again, negative fifth world problems.
I think we're down to, like, negative ninth here. These are pretty... We're going pretty deep into little annoying things here. Another discrepancy between the iPad and iPhone version is on the iPad version there's a little arrow that activates minimal mode and deactivates it. Now on the phone version there is that same arrow, except the little time list is on the bottom, so it points up and down, not left and right. Okay. Yep. But there are also these two arrows on either, so they have the little menu bar, and then on the left and right of the menu bar, there are two arrows, which from what I can tell, do nothing, right? So you tap one of these arrows, and the little menu bar pops away to the side, and that's it? Like, is it like ultra minimal mode? But the arrow's still there, like there is still an arrow in the top bar that you can tap to get everything back, and you can go both directions, so you can like put the menu bar on the left or put it on the right. I have no idea what this is there for. Like, you could get rid of those two arrows and nothing would happen. You would...
Yeah. Alright.
And this also leads on to... So, minimal mode, as we mentioned, hiding the times. Did you find minimal mode useful? Did you use minimal mode, Reese?
No, generally, I don't really care. Like, it's still really, really, really spacious, even without minimal mode. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think on the iPad version, you could safely get rid of minimal mode. Like...
Yeah.
And for the sake of minimalism, which is a bit weird, like...
Yeah.
Getting rid of minimal mode to make the app more minimal.
Yeah, that's really ironic, okay.
But, yeah. I think you could get rid of it.
Okay.
Especially because when you press minimal mode, it doesn't just hide the times. It also hides the delete last button and the penalty button. So, if you're in minimal mode, basically, if you're doing any timing, you cannot have minimal mode activated because you need to do penalties and delete solves.
Yep.
Like, it's not really practical. Like, you would need to activate it, like, every couple solves to, if you stuff something up, if you activate the timer when you didn't mean to or something. Then, yeah. I don't know.
It's kind of weird.
Minimal mode is a strange feature. I think you could get rid of it pretty well. We are getting so deep into this app.
Yeah.
So, drop to stop. What can you describe drop to stop as a feature, Reese?
Drop to stop. This has been implemented on a couple of timers before, but not many. Essentially, how it works is if you don't like pressing the timer with your finger at the end, what you can do is either kind of pat your hand on the table or drop the cube and the timer will stop for you. And that way it's kind of a lot more like a stack max. You're not trying to kind of fumble and press something. You're just kind of doing the first instinctive thing, which is put your hands down.
Yeah, like if you drop the cube on your device, it'll register the vibration and stop the timer.
Yeah.
Which is a very cool feature, actually. I hadn't tried this on any app before. Had you?
Yeah, on child timer, it's pretty awful. It doesn't work. Yeah, but nah, it's good.
I found it worked pretty well, but I was in. We went on a car trip to somewhere about a week ago, and like I was trying to do some solves in the car, as you might do if you're really bored, and I kept starting the timer, and it would stop at 0.45.
Yeah.
And I started the timer again, 0.45. What's the problem here? My finger's not on the screen. I realized it was because I had dropped to stop on, and the car was shaking on the road, which caused the phone to think that a cube was being dropped on it, and so it stopped the timer.
Yeah, which really is kind of the downfall of this part. You wouldn't really use it for something like that, because it's just really not that practical.
And it took me a while to realize that, like, if I was less versed in this timer, if I wasn't studying it so thoroughly, because we need to do this review, like, I wouldn't have noticed that it was dropped to stop, and think this time is broken, go and leave a 1-star review on the App Store or something, I don't know. But, I don't know, I think the app could benefit from maybe drop to stop can cause the timer to stop if you're in a shaky environment, or if your device isn't on a flat, unmoving surface or something.
Fair enough, yeah.
I think a drop to stop is a very good name as well, because it's self-explanatory and it's rhymey and it sounds good. It's fun to say. Drop to stop.
Oh yeah, like Saturday night, I'm just like drop to stop, man.
Yep. Drop, stop, and roll or something. Stop, drop.
Yep.
Got that wrong.
Yeah, what was that like old fire scheme that they had in Australia? It was like get down and roll or something. I can't remember, but it just reminds me of that.
But I do think drop to stop is a very well implemented feature, because like you turn on the little button, and then it's got a sensitivity level. I think you could get away with not using the sensitivity level, like if you just set it at the default, and then you didn't need to bother people with the slider.
I mean, the sensitivity level is already pretty high, so
yeah.
I mean, you could make it lower if you are in like a car or something like that, but that would make it difficult to stop. So yeah, I think the sensitivity thing's not really too necessary.
I think you're better off picking a default setting. Yeah, like if you're in a car, oh well, tap the screen. Why don't you? Like, for the sake of getting rid of that little sensitivity bar, for uncluttering the settings menu, I think it's a reasonable decision to make to get rid of the sensitivity bar.
Yeah.
What else we got here? Oh yeah, another minor. I mean, this is just insane level picking apart a timer. But a minor difference between the iPhone version and the iPad version is that once you're in inspection and you're holding down the timer to start, what will happen on the iPad is as you hold down, a little red stoplight will appear in the top, and then a green one will appear, and once the green one's there, you can let go and you're safe to start the timer.
Yeah.
On the iPhone, what happens is you're in inspection, then you hold it down, the whole top bar turns red, then the whole top bar turns green, and then you can start.
Yeah.
And I guess the reason they can't have the little stoplights on the phone is because there's not enough space in the menu bar. Like, it's full in there, you can't put anything more in there. If you put the lights there, it would be overlapping with the icons. But for the sake of consistency, I think you should have the same thing on the iPhone on the iPad if you cannot have the same thing from the iPad on the iPhone. As in, the whole top bar turns green on the iPad, and then it turns red, and then it turns green, and then it starts. For the sake of consistency, I mean, they serve the same purpose, and also, I kind of think that the whole bar turning the same color looks a little nicer than the green.
Fair enough. But we're really kind of tearing this timer apart right now. This is by far the best timer on the App Store.
I have to agree with that. This is an amazing timer.
Yeah.
If you are listening to this and you haven't already bought this timer, buy it. Right now. Seriously, do it. It is very good. If you use
Chow Timer, just die.
Wow.
Okay, maybe that was a little bit difficult, but yeah, I was solving at my friend's house the other day on Chow Timer. Almost kind of killed myself. It was not fun.
Yeah.
Chow Timer, it's just no.
See, Chow Time is all right, but after, I mean, I was starting to believe that maybe it's impossible to have a adequate Rubik's Cube timer. But, like, we had some joke in a previous episode about how you needed to pick the timer that was the least terrible. This timer has passed that barrier of adequacy and is now, you can safely say that it's good.
Yes.
And it's not the least terrible. It is a good timer.
Yep. The only thing that I would like to see on a timer like this that isn't already there is scramble length changes, which not many timers have at all. And I would also like to see some more color options, because then Bryce would be happy.
Yeah. I think this is the kind of... I'm glad that this timer does not have scramble length changes. Like, in ZYX timer, what you would have is... So if you were picking a scramble, you would first pick the event. So you might pick 3x3.
Yeah.
And then you would pick the style of scramble. So random state, WCA, R2, L2, or something.
Yeah.
And I find that was just confusing clutter. I would like a 3x3 scramble. I do not know what any of these crazy abbreviations mean. I just want a 3x3 scramble. And that is what 5-timer gives you. It gives you a 3x3 scramble.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, this application on the iPhone, this is an iPhone exclusive issue. So, I believe it's something called, like, what is it? UI View Controller or something? Where the way you design an app is so that instead of having all of the things, all of the buttons on a timer and all the labels and all that in a fixed position, so instead of saying, put the scramble right here, what you say is, put this scramble here, and then you have a margin on the left and right, a fixed margin, so that what happens is, as the screen size changes, then the scramble type doesn't stay in the one place. It moves dynamically between screen sizes. Kind of like you see on, like, modern web pages. If you scale down the web page, then all of the text will get bigger or smaller to fit in that size, and the images will move, and the sidebar might move to the top, or something like that.
Yep.
This app doesn't have that, and there are two reasons that I know this. The first reason is that it doesn't have split view on the iPad. So with iOS 9 on a few of the modern iPad models, there's a feature called split view where you can have two applications side by side if they are split view enabled. So you could have Safari next to Messages, or you could have Notes next to Skype, or something.
Yeah.
This app doesn't have that, and I think a cube timer would be one of the... Like, having split view on a cube timer would be a very good feature. It's a very good marketable feature. Like, you can watch a YouTube video while you're sewing or something, because...
I would definitely do that, yeah.
Yeah, like, cubing isn't a very mentally consuming activity. So you can be doing another thing, like you could be listening to a podcast, which I'm sure there are people right now listening to this podcast while they are solving a cube, because it doesn't take up all of your mental space. So because... back on topic. This timer is not split view enabled because it doesn't have that scaling down kind of thing. And also, it is not updated for the iPhone 6 screen size. So...
Yeah.
It's iPhone 5 and below. So if you're on a device with a 4.7-inch display or the 5.5, then it will present to you a scaled-up version of the iPhone 5 display.
Yeah.
So you can get... It's like you got an iPhone 5 and went and made it, just extended it lengthways. And so everything looks blurrier than it should, and all of the options are huge, relatively... Like, the default... When you get, like, a notification, it'll appear significantly bigger than it would if you were on a device updated for the larger screen sizes.
Yep.
And I think that's a feature for the longevity of your app. It's a very good idea, because, like, the new screen sizes, like, the new iPad Pro's just been released, like, it'll automatically adjust, your app will automatically adjust to that bigger screen size.
Yep.
Instead of having to manually design for every new screen size that Apple comes. And there's like a bunch of them. There's 3.5, 4-inch, 4.7, 5.5, and then the three models of iPad. And like if you design your app this way so that it scales with size, then it'll automatically adjust all those screen sizes, and you won't have this kind of blown up, blurry problem that you do right now if it's not updated that way.
Yeah.
That was long.
Alright, should we finish up
I've
now?
got more. Come on.
Oh my god.
This is okay.
How do
I'm
you still have
pretty
more?
sure.
This is a timer, and we've been talking about it for like 40 minutes, and you still have more.
Yeah. I think this is the last thing, and this is a minor complaint.
Oh god. Okay. Yes.
Because all the others have been major complaints, but this one's the only minor one.
Yeah.
On the iPhone version, when you press the settings icon, what happens is it's like this visual metaphor where the timer flips around, and on the back it reveals the settings icon, which is kind of a common iOS and semi-common iOS animation. So it'll look like the whole screen has flipped around, even though, I mean, it actually hasn't, obviously.
Yeah.
But that's the design of it. It looks like it flips around, and then you've got the settings menu. That is an old animation. That is... What most apps would do today is, when you press the settings icon, the little settings screen slides from bottom to top quickly.
Yep.
And the advantage of that is, I mean, beyond just looking more modern, which is my main gripe with this, flipping around looks old and doesn't look very good. It's also much faster and less distracting. Like, when you're flipping around this... When you tap the options icon, it flipping around, you notice that. But I actually had to go into one of my other apps that I use to see what it does when you activate the settings menu. Because it's so quick and so subtle that it looks good and it's not noticeable.
Yeah.
It will slide up from the bottom, and I think that is what the settings screen should slide up from the bottom and not flip around.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Now that we've got our negative, what negative number world problems do we go for? Negative Mitch, let's put it at that.
Yeah.
Alright, negative Mitch, yeah.
Anyway, as we've said a bunch of times before, this timer is very good. You should use this timer. You agree with that, Reese?
Yes, I would. Alright, let's wrap this up.
Yep. So, something I just wanted to say here. This is kind of a challenge for the listeners, okay? So, if you go into the podcast app on your iOS device, and then you go into featured, and then you go into games and hobbies. There is a section in games and hobbies called New and Noteworthy, wherein iTunes features podcasts which they deem as noteworthy and that are also new. On my device here, I have The Cubing Show listed as the 8th most new and noteworthy in the games and hobbies section. And I think that changes region to region. Like, if you're in a different country, it'll be a different rating. But in Australia, at least, it is rated 8th in new and noteworthy. Here's the challenge for the listeners,
cool.
Okay? I want us to get as high as we can on that new and noteworthy list. So right now there are 7 podcasts above us. I want to see how many podcasts we can beat in terms of our ranking in new and noteworthy. And the way the listeners can do this is by going onto our podcast and rating it, whatever rating they deem fit. So if you give our podcast a 5-star rating, that'll give our podcast a little extra push up to the top of the new and noteworthy chart. And I want to see...
And I just want to say, this is just... I never used to do this, but literally, it takes like 3 seconds.
So, come on, listeners. Let's see how far we can get it up here. I'm going to read out the names of the other podcasts that are beating us. Games Vault, Vault IGN, Multiple Nerdgasm Specials, 30 2010, Kill Connor Club Podcast, The Raw Toast, Star Wars New Canon Book Club. How many of them you reckon we can beat?
All of them.
Sounds good. Come on, listeners, we can do this.
Alright, should we finish up?
Yep.
And stop recording.